In 1998, two Stanford graduate students launched a search engine from a garage. Now today, that company processes over 8.5 billion searches per day, owns the world's second most visited website, powers 70% of smartphones globally, and shapes how billions of people access information, watch videos, navigate cities, and even think. This is the story of how Google didn't just win the search war, it rewrote the rules of technology, business, and culture itself. Before Google, the internet was chaos. By 1998, search engines like Alta Vista, Excite, and Yahoo relied on a simple but flawed approach. Count how many times keywords appeared on a page. Want to rank for best pizza? Just write best pizza 500 times in invisible text at the bottom of your page. It was gaming the system at scale, and the internet was drowning in spam. Enter Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They weren't trying to build a business. They were trying to solve an academic problem. How do you measure the importance of a web page? Larry Page had a simple but radical insight, inspired by academic citations. What matters isn't what you say about yourself, it's about what others say about you. PageRank treated the internet like a giant popularity contest, but with a twist. Every link was a vote of confidence, but not all votes were equal. A link from a highly trusted site, like the New York Times, counted more than a link from your cousin's blog. Imagine three websites. Website A has 10 links from random blogs. Website B has one link from Wikipedia, and website C has links from both A and B. Well, PageRank doesn't just count links, it weighs their authority. Website B wins because Wikipedia's endorsement carries massive weight. Website C benefits from both quality and quantity. This recursive algorithm, where authority flows through the web like water through pipes, was revolutionary. It couldn't be easily gamed because you couldn't fake endorsements from authoritative sites. PageRank wasn't perfect, but it was orders of magnitude better than anything else. When you searched Google in 1998, you actually found what you were looking for, and word spread fast. But here's the untold part. PageRank alone didn't make Google dominant. The algorithm was published openly in academic papers. Competitors could see exactly how it worked. Now, Google's real advantage? Execution, infrastructure, and speed. While Yahoo was trying to be a portal with news, email, and games, Google stayed laser-focused. Make search faster, more accurate, and more useful. By 2000, Google was processing 18 million searches per day. But it had a massive problem. No revenue model. Venture capitalists were getting nervous. The dot-com bubble was bursting, and Google needed money fast. In 2000, Google did something radical. They launched AdWords, and it changed advertising forever. Before AdWords, online advertising meant annoying banner ads you paid for up front, whether anyone clicked or not. Google flipped the model. You only pay when someone clicks your ad. This was pay-per-click advertising, and it aligned incentives perfectly. But the genius was in the details. Google didn't just sell ads to the highest bidder. They created a quality score that rewarded relevant, useful ads. If your ad matched what people were searching for and they clicked it, you paid less. If your ad was spammy and irrelevant, you couldn't buy your way to the top. Let's search for running shoes. You see ads, but they're actually helpful. Nike, Adidas, specialty running stores, not random spam about weight loss pills. Why? Because Google's algorithm learned that relevant ads get clicked more, making everyone more money. Google, the advertiser, and theoretically, the user who finds what they need. Then in 2003, Google launched AdSense, and suddenly every website owner could print money. Here's how it worked. You run a blog about hiking. Google scans your content, automatically places relevant ads about camping gear and travel boots, and splits the revenue with you. Your readers click the ads, you earn money, and the advertiser gets customers. Google takes a cut. AdSense did two brilliant things. It made Google essential to millions of small publishers who suddenly had a business model. It trained Google's AI on what ads worked where, creating an unbeatable feedback loop. By 2004, Google was printing money, and they were just getting started. Let's bust a myth right now. Google is not a search company. Google is an advertising company that happens to run the world's best search engine. In 2023, advertising accounted for roughly 80% of Google's revenue, over $200 billion. Search, YouTube, Gmail, Google Maps. These are all tools to learn about you, your interests, your intent, so Google can show you more relevant ads. Is that sinister? Not necessarily. Google's entire business model depends on one thing: keeping you happy enough to keep using their products. If search results were terrible, you'd leave. If YouTube was unwatchable, you'd switch to competitors. The ads subsidize genuinely useful free tools. But make no mistake, you are not Google's customer. You are Google's product. Advertisers are the customers. By 2006, Google faced a new threat: video. YouTube was exploding in popularity, and Google's own video service was failing. So Google made one of the boldest acquisitions in tech history. They bought YouTube for $1.65 billion. At the time, critics called it insane. YouTube had no clear path to profitability and was burning through cash. Google saw what others didn't. YouTube was the future of content consumption. They integrated AdSense, let creators earn money from ads on their videos, creating an ecosystem where creators made content because they could earn a living. Viewers got free entertainment. Advertisers reached engaged audiences, and Google took a 45% cut of ad revenue. Today, YouTube has over 2.7 billion users. It's the second most visited website on Earth after Google itself. The creator economy, influencers, vloggers, educators, exists largely because Google built infrastructure for it. YouTube isn't just a video platform. It's a cultural engine that shapes entertainment, education, politics, and childhood development globally. In 2005, Google quietly acquired a small startup called Android. By 2008, they released the first Android phone, and as of today, Android powers over 70% of smartphones worldwide. But why would Google give away an operating system for free? Because they already knew mobile was the future, and Google needed to ensure that they'd be the default search engine in your pocket. Now, every Android phone comes with Google Search, Google Maps, Gmail, YouTube, and the Google Play Store pre-installed, resulting in billions of people worldwide having access to the internet primarily through Google-controlled devices. Apple's iOS might be more profitable per device, but Android's market share means Google touches more of humanity daily than any company in history. While everyone watched Amazon dominate cloud computing, Google Cloud Platform quietly became a $30 billion plus business. But Google's real long-term bet? Artificial intelligence. Google didn't just jump on the AI bandwagon, they actually helped build it. They developed TensorFlow, the most popular AI framework. They pioneered transformer architecture that powers modern AI. They launched Google Assistant, Google Translate, and Google Photos' scary good image recognition. And when ChatGPT shocked the world in late 2022, Google already had the technology. They'd been cautious about releasing it. Some might say too cautious. OpenAI and Microsoft seized the moment while Google played catch-up with Bard and Gemini. But make no mistake, the AI war isn't over. Google has more data, more infrastructure, and more integration points than any other competitor. Now let's pull back the curtain on how Google Search actually works at a high level. Step 1. Crawling. Google sends out billions of automated bots called spiders or crawlers that constantly browse the web, following links from page to page, discovering new content, and revisiting old pages to check for updates. Step 2. Indexing. Google doesn't search the live internet every time you type a query. That would take forever. Instead, it builds a massive index, essentially a library catalog of the internet. It analyzes page content, images, video files, everything, organizing it for instant retrieval. And step 3, ranking. When you search, Google's algorithm evaluates hundreds of factors in milliseconds: page rank, link authority, content relevance and quality, user location and search history, page speed and mobile friendliness, freshness of information, and hundreds more. The algorithm is constantly learning. Machine learning models trained on billions of searches predict what you actually want, not just what you type. Here's the critical myth to bust. PageRank eliminated simple keyword stuffing, but SEO evolved. Modern Google doesn't just count keywords. It uses natural language processing to understand context, synonyms, and user intent. Writing best pizza 500 times won't help you. It'll get you penalized. Today's SEO is about genuinely good content that answers questions, loads fast, works on mobile, and earns legitimate links. Google's incentives push toward quality because happy searchers mean more searches, mean more ad revenue. Is it perfect? No. People still game the system, but it's exponentially harder than in 1998. Google created amazing ecosystems that millions depend on. YouTube creators earning $15 billion collectively in 2022 exist because Google built monetization tools. But Google also controls the algorithm that determines their livelihood. Change the recommendation system, and careers vanish overnight. Android manufacturers get free software, but must pre-install Google apps to access the Play Store, cementing Google's dominance. Regulators worldwide are investigating this as anti-competitive. Smart businesses rely on Google Ads to survive, but must navigate a black box auction system where costs can spike overnight. Google created the modern internet economy, but it also controls the levers. Final myth to bust: nothing Google offers is free. You pay with your data, your attention, your behavioral patterns. Google knows what you search, where you go, what videos you watch, what emails you send, where you shop, what you click. This data powers the most sophisticated advertising machine ever built. It's also used to improve products. Google Maps gets better because it tracks everyone's driving patterns. Is this a fair trade? Well, that's for you to decide. But understanding the deal is essential. Google took over the world, not through force, but through utility. They solved problems better than anyone else: search, email, video, mobile, and maps. But their dominance raises questions that we're still grappling with. Should one company control this much of how we access information? How do we balance innovation with privacy? And who decides what content billions see first? The story of Google is the story of the internet itself. Brilliant innovation, transformative technology, enormous power, and complex consequences. Want to explore more stories about innovation, technology, and how companies shape our world? Subscribe and hit the notification bell. The next empire is already being built. Let's understand it together.